What is up and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be covering how you can find plays early, how you can avoid rug pulls, and how you can use others as exit liquidity before getting used by others for exit liquidity. Now in this video, I want to cover 3 trades that I've opened. The first being Allen, which is around $1,000 of profit right now. The second is Ratio 1 R1, which is currently around $6,000 in profit, doing a clean 2x. And the third has been to find plays on AVAX like White, like Lambo, like Wolfie, and like a new play that we just opened up right now, FOMO, that we're going to get into later in this video. This is the exact strategy I've used to clear over $50,000 last month trading, especially on big coins like Zeus and getting in early before anyone else. So let's get right into it. Let's go. What the fuck is up, and welcome back to another video. So we're going to be covering the current trades that I have open and why I've taken them. So the first trade that I have open here, you can see is about almost $1,000 in profit. I've aped in around 5.1k remaining, is the trade on Allen. Now, if you guys don't know who Allen is, it's currently a coin made by one of the founders of Pump Fund. Now, this is extremely important because from my knowledge, he is the only co-founder of Pump Fund that has a token. Now, if you guys have not heard the news, Pump Fund is to launch a token at a $4 billion valuation, okay? That means that there is going to be a big beta play. Now, everyone thinks that Pump Fund, the token, is actually going to get slaughtered and that is going to go down after launch. I actually think that is not true. If you go and look at Hyperliquid, if you go and look at Jupe, if you go and look at any of these protocols that have the flywheel in place where they spend their revenue to buy back the token, there is a very high probability that Pump Fund will actually pump at launch, and then I think it will dump. So I think everyone's going to go and short it because it is a big pre-sale at $1 billion, which is pretty insane, and a $4 billion market cap. So I think it's going to pump to around $8 to $9 billion. Then I think everyone's going to get liquidated on the shorts, and then it is going to short once it liquidates all the shorts. So I think it's going to actually pump. So my beta play to this is that this is going to be a $4 billion FDV launch. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that the market cap is $1 billion, and I think that this is going to do a 5% beta play. This is at minimum to me $50 million to $200 million coin. So somewhere in here. If you guys look back all the way here, there was one wick here right when it launched, I believe, when it was shilled, where it went to $250 million. This wick is only going to happen from an event like Pump Fund happening. That is the only time we're going to see this wick, and you guys can actually see on Axiom here all of my buys and my sells. And if you guys aren't using this bot, then I'll show you how to set it up as well, because this is where you're going to get the best buy. So I've just been dollar cost averaging all the way in. My average is like 14, so I'm not up that much. Now, for this is a medium-sized play at 5K, but I do think this is good. This is good risk to reward ratio. So I've sized in here decently well. And again, this is a beta play to Pump Fund. So we have to wait until the Pump Fund token is launched. We cannot close this trade or do anything until this happens. So we can actually close out the trade because we're going to know how it's going to go once that happens. Okay. Second trade that I have open is a token called R1. Now I'm also going to show you guys the Discord because I want to show proof that I've called all of these plays as well. So you guys know I'm not spoofing anything, etc. So we can go here. This is where I called R1. You guys can see $10 million market cap. Now R1 is currently trading at a $17.8 million market cap, and it peaked here just a second ago around a $20 million market cap, I believe. So that was a very clean 2x with size again. Now R1, without getting into too many details, it basically has competitors to render Akash. It's essentially an infrastructure AI for infrastructure AI built on Base. So Base, in theory, has always been the home to a lot of AI projects and infrastructure plays. And I actually saw there was a bunch of Keta wallets aping into R1 early. So that was like a good indicator to me to go and ape into. Now, if you don't know what Keta is, it was essentially launched to be like an XRP 2.0. But obviously, Keta is like one of the craziest coins ever. I actually hit a 10x on this, which is pretty good. But I didn't use enough size, so that actually sucks. And we also opened a nice swing trade here, which I put in the Discord too, at around 0.7 here. So it's pumped around 30% on the day. But I saw a lot of wallets aping in. And I think there would be a nice house money effect to see a bunch of wallets that have made a ton of money on something like Keta, then go and ape into an early coin like R1, especially because it is AI infrastructure built on the Base ecosystem. So I think that is going to do extremely well. And also, I believe it's a team of 11. They've been building it for around 3 years and just launched it. It pumped a bit, but then kind of came back down. So I tried to get my averages in around the $10 million market cap. I still think like a 6 mil true market cap is pretty low because the FTV is 17.8 million. So for me, that means there's still about 30% circulating supply and 60% of tokens are locked, which is totally fine. To me, it makes no difference. So I think that should do pretty well. One other play that I'm opening up here is going to be the play on AVAX. So if we go over to AVAX, there's about 3 plays open right now. One is Lambo. So Lambo's currently at a $50 million market cap. I actually first saw this coin at $300,000 market cap, which is fucking insane. But I ended up not taking the trade because I actually got a bit lazy and just thought it was going to do a 10x and then die, which didn't happen. So it ended up being one of the craziest runners, doing around 140x since I first scanned it. So that's unfortunate. So I ended up taking the lessons learned here, transferred them over to Wife, grabbing a very clean around 2 to 3x on here. So I ended up calling Wife over in pure degen over here. And it looks like it has done a 2x here. So it's called as an $8 million market cap. It's gone to around 20 million as well. So AVAX is a lot different than trading on Solana. Solana is traditionally all cheats and people that just try and steal money from each other. But when you go over to AVAX, you get to see a lot more people that are actually trying to not steal money from each other and that are actually interested in building a community, letting coins run, and actually like holding off on taking profits until the coin starts to do well. That's the only reason why like Lambo ended up going to $54 million market cap. And now Lambo and the dev from Wife Changing Money are going to be working together. So from my understanding, you can stake Wife, the token Wife Changing Money, wherever it is here, and you can get a crazy APY. And you can also get Lambo back in return. So you're going to stake Wife Changing Money and you're going to get Lambo back in return. That's pretty crazy. Now I also ended up going and aping FOMO, which I just called in the Discord here. Where is it? So I said $2 to $3 million was a good entry point. This is a fresh launch. So it's currently at a $2.6 million market cap. So usually what happens here is it pumps, it comes down, and then it will most likely reverse. So I'll probably go and try and pick some up anywhere in here at like the 1.5 to 2. It's probably going to start to bounce here. So I might even go over and go to my Sigma bot right here, which you guys can see on my screen. I'm going to go over to positions so you guys can see. Then I can see FOMO, and I'm going to blast in another 20 here at 2.5 to bring my average cost down a bit. So that makes it a little bit easier for me just to get good entries here. So you can see I'm a tiny bit down, only 20% down on this trade at a $2.6 million market cap. I think this is a $10 million market cap coin, but everything on AVAX takes a little bit of time. So you guys are seeing me trade it in real time, which I think is pretty sick versus just showing the results. These are most of the trades I have open. I've pretty much closed the Zeus trade now that I had open for a long time, banking around 25 to 30K in profit. I did call it again at $13.5 million market cap as a Pico bottom right around here actually, which is kind of insane. And I do think actually it is easily going to do like a 2-3x. I just don't know if I want to risk more capital right now going after the same trade, but there's a good chance I do open another position on it in the coming weeks, depending on what the price does. These are the main trades that I have open right now. The market, guys, there's times when the market is slow and the market is fast. And when the market starts to pick up and you see Solana pumping, apparently there's going to be an ETF announcement coming pretty soon around that. So that would obviously make it super pumping bullish. ETH, the BlackRock's buying a fucking shitload of it. There also is a lot of talk that there's going to be ETH staking. Now, if there is a bunch of staking, then it's essentially going to be probably one of the best assets that any asset manager like BlackRock can go and end up buying. So I do think that they are going to pump like ETH extremely hard. I have a 5K to 10K ETH target that I'm not taking profit on. Bitcoin I see going to $150,000. Solana is honestly got really nuked because of the war that's going on right now. However, I do think when that gets cleared up, hopefully soon, everything is going to pump extremely hard because a lot of these prices, especially when war happens, get just decimated because people are scared. So that's why when I see things like this, I'm pretty bullish just because I know that if the trades are doing well in a poor market, when the market is good, trades are going to be doing a lot better. And so another trade that we used to have open was Hyperliquid. That was insane. I ended up closing that trade, unfortunately. But I do see this being literally a $100 coin. Just really good product, a really good team. And I think there's going to be a lot of beta plays as well. Now, finally, the other two positions that I currently have open here are on the Abstract chain, which is going to be Appster in Newt Newt. Now, Newt Newt obviously is a huge meme. It's pretty much everywhere. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube. Newt Newt, it's from an old TV show, I believe. I've called the bottom of this around $10 million a bunch of times. If you haven't gotten a position, then I think still now would be a good time to do so. Said this a bunch of times. This is a $100 million meme to me. There's been no flow to Abstract Chain yet. They haven't even started the marketing. I think that this is an easy 7 to 10x with relatively good size. I'm looking to take a nice swing on it. The last trade is going to be Abster. This has been trending at like $15 to $20 million market cap forever. Again, to me, this is also a $100 million plus meme. And I think this is an easy 5x from here. Again, same thing. Abstract will have a massive airdrop in the coming months. Once the airdrop happens, there's going to be a house money effect that comes onto the Abstract ecosystem. Once that money comes onto the Abstract ecosystem, very similar to Sol and Hyperliquid, that money will flow down into the smaller coins. And what makes sense to pump, that would be the nice beta plays, being the largest meme coins on the chain, being Abster and most likely Newt Newt. And there are a bunch of new tokens launching on here as well. So when those ones come out, then we'll get entries into those as well. But for right now, these are my only two plays on Abstract Chain, and that is going to be Abster and Newt Newt, both $100 million coins at least. Now, if you want to know how to find these coins, you have to understand how to research coins and how to find narratives, okay? Narratives that gather attention. If you look back to the plays that we just called, so Newt Newt and Abster are going to gather attention because Abstract is going to be a multi-billion-dollar chain. When that attention is captured, money is going to flow on chain. It's going to capture attention. It's going to move to the biggest narratives in the coin. When Pump Fund launches, right, Alan is going to get attention. Why? Because Pump Fund is a $4 billion launch. The only founder that has a meme coin is going to be Alan. Alan is going to get most likely 5% of the beta value of Pump Fund. That would be $50 to $250 million valuation for the coin, okay? Now, what is the story about the coin, okay? Why would this go viral? Why would this get attention? We've already talked about this. It would get attention because Pump Fund is basically the biggest thing in crypto, and it would go viral because he's only co-founder with the coin. So that is a story that's going to be pushed across Twitter, okay? Is this already trending on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram? On Twitter, kind of. On TikTok and Instagram, no, because that's not the meta. Now, there are other metas that you can use, which is the TikTok brain rot strategy. I've made a bunch of videos about this on my Instagram and YouTube. But that's essentially when you go and you scroll on your phone right here, you start scrolling on TikTok and you start finding something that's going viral. So AI Vlogs was like that. Bigfoot was like that. And then you would go and you would search on Dex Screener if there is a coin that's you know what I mean? That's basically going viral. And so if that would happen and the coin would be going viral, then I would go and search if that narrative has a coin. If the narrative does not have a coin, then I would wait till the narrative does get a coin. But if the narrative already has just one coin, then I would go and bid that coin. Now, if the narrative has 2-3 coins, you have to be a little bit more careful because the coins are going to compete with each other for attention, okay? But this is very similar. This is how Chill Guy happening. This is how Rismus happened. This was Morning Routine, okay? Now be careful because there can be PvP on multiple coins, okay? Now, this is very important. Is this coin a movement and does it stand for something? So Alan is not a movement, but it stands for something, being a beta bet, right? If it's standing for something, it can run a lot higher. Mudang, Peanut, Trump was one of these, or is it kind of a narrative-based event? So Trump would be a narrative-based event. Alan would be a narrative-based event. Things like Justice for X, Justice for this are more, movements versus Trump, Melania. All of these are basically more narrative-based pumps, and the narrative-based pumps can actually pump a lot harder. Now, you have to also keep in mind, why would someone buy your coin 10x higher than you are buying it right now, okay? Why would they be your extra liquidity? If you can't determine who's going to buy your coin in the future, then you are the extra liquidity. The person that's going to buy my token is going to be people that are FOMOing in from the Pump Fund launch that are going to be buying Alan. Why? Because I think those people are going to make money from the Pump Fund token launch. I think that they are going to go and bid my coin, which would be Alan. And I think that the people that make a lot of money from the Pump Fund are going to need a place to rotate those profits, and that is going to be to Alan. That is why I think they're going to be my extra liquidity. That is why I think I'm going to make a lot of money on them, okay? Now, if you don't know who will dump on you, right, then you are the person being dumped on. I just explained this, but this makes sense. You need to know who is going to be your extra liquidity. If you can't determine who is going to be your extra liquidity, then you are the one being used as extra liquidity, okay? Does that make sense? Cool, okay? Don't play derivatives. That just goes out there's as a normal saying for me. I don't bid memes over $1 billion, and I won't play derivatives, okay? Now, you have to also understand, like something like R1, did really well because AI infrastructure was basically popping off, especially on the base ecosystem. So then I would go and bid infrastructure plays in AI that are built on base. Okay, now what makes a good meta? How is it compared to others in the space? Are there $100 million every day? So the market changes, guys. The market is not like stagnant. Sometimes you can catch $100 million runners all the time. Like when we caught Hood, every single day there was one runner going and doing $100 million. Right now, in my opinion, it is AVAX season. So I think all the coins on AVAX are going to do extremely well. Now, you have to know what season you're in and what's happening in the market, and that is going to determine how much money you can make. Finally, this is the last point because I don't want to make this video drag on too long. You have to understand who is following the coin, who is talking about the coin. Do they have a good community? So everyone on AVAX, if you think about it, is a good person to follow because they want the coin to genuinely go higher and higher and higher. They are the least likely people to go and take profit. Same with people on Abstract. The most JEETs are the ones on Sol. Those are the ones that basically are the worst for making money and the worst for the community because they just want to steal money from each other. Okay. Everyone that joins a coin ends up being an affiliate market. If you are not willing to help push the coin and shill it to other people, then you shouldn't be buying the coin. Why? Because the best marketing for the coin is price up and to the right. And that only happens if everyone that buys a coin ends up being an affiliate marketer. So you have to be willing to push the coin that you are buying in order for it to get to all-time highs. Okay. Now you can check on the Twitter, but what you want to do is buy a coin first, and then you start to see the coin being called in private telegrams and public telegrams and see it on Twitter. If you see it being called everywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, etc., and it's already pumped like 100, 200, 300, 500%, I wouldn't say to go and ape in. There's a lot of people that actually ended up losing money on Zeus, which is a coin I called at $5.5 million. Why? Because I called it at $5.5 million. No one thought it was good. Everyone started bidding it at 30, $40 million, and it went to 70 million. Maybe we'll go back to all-time highs. But the point is that I was already 7-8x in my money, and people were starting to bid the coin at $40 million. This is a bad system, a bad process that you don't want to get into the habit of doing, because if you end up getting into the habit of top blasting with size at 5x where I called it, then that is just kind of a recipe for disaster and a good reason why you're going to end up losing money, because you really can't have that process because you're just top blasting coins, and you can only get away with that if a coin has a lot of volume. Okay, that is the only time. The only time you can get away with that is if a coin has a lot of volume and it's being pushed by a lot of people. Then you can top blast, but you shouldn't get into the habit of doing this because it is a bad process to learn. Because if you do this in the bear market, if you do this when there isn't high volume on a token and you don't get lucky, that coin is most likely going to come down 90%. Okay, that is pretty much everything I've wanted to cover in this video. If you found value in this, then please drop a like, a comment, and subscribe. If you want to trade with us one-on-one and you want to see everything that's happening in the Discord, which is where we called Alan, which is where we called a whole bunch of other plays that we've gone through this video. That's how I was able to find home to make $20,000 on the DeFi .app airdrop. And everything is going to be in the Discord right here, which is linked down below. Now, if you do have a larger portfolio around $50,000 or plus, then I've just opened 5 more spots in my private mastermind, and that's only for people that have a lot more money, because I'm personally messaging you and telling you what plays I am buying. So that's a lot more one-on-one support. So if you're interested in that, then just fill the application down below. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Let's go. Time to lock in is right now. There's never been better opportunities in the market. Appreciate you guys for watching. Cheers.